Peace, y'all, and welcome to Gather and Heal, the podcast. My name is Vanessa Sujey, and I am your holistic host. Basically, we're going to have lots of combos. Sometimes it'll be just me, and sometimes we'll have some guests. No matter what the topic is, though, I'm going to make sure that it connects right back to your emotional wellness and healing journey. We are back, y'all. Well, we being me, myself, and I. But nonetheless, we back. We out here. So I'm thinking today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about MomPreneurSh, okay? But more specifically, grace and forgiveness and self-compassion. Now, I know you're probably thinking, damn, Vanessa Sujey stays being mad ambitious with all the things that she wants to talk about in her 30 to 45 minute podcast episodes. And you're right. I see no lies. It just boils down to that. but at the same time, it's the themes. Those are the themes that are coming to my mind and that I am trying to make sure that I embody. I'm trying to embody the grace, the forgiveness, and the self-compassion. Like, if I were to sit here and tell you how crazy this past week, 2 weeks has been, it will make a whole lot of sense. Well, I guess I am about to tell you because that's the whole point of today's episode. But what I'm thinking about is like a couple of these identities that are so much at my forefront. Being a mother, right? It's 9:00 at night. I'm recording this episode and I could still hear my little human making noise in his room. And I'm like, bro, why are you not asleep yet? But okay. So that's the big one at the forefront. And it's also so much at the forefront because my human is still so little. So there's that. Then there's the whole being an entrepreneur, right? Running these two businesses, trying to make sure they are financially successful, accessible, and that the people who need us know where to find us, know how to come through and get their needs met. And then there's the shit. Remember, I said MomPreneurSh. So the shit is like all the things that life just wants to freaking throw at me and be like, here you go. And I'm looking back like, yo, universe, you ain't gonna help me out a little bit though, because it's a whole lot of shit happening. We out here, me, myself, and I, along with it's a dirty martini type of night with the let's celebrate 420 a little early. Okay, so my partner is out of state for work. He was supposed to come back yesterday. And can I tell y'all, I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to being like, yo, bedtime with our little human is yours, because he's been giving me a hard time. Well, JetBlue had other plans. JetBlue was like, flight canceled. Bitch, what? You just out here canceling flights though? And then it gets better. Well, he logs into the account and they rescheduled his flight for the next day. And so I'm like, damn. JetBlue gonna do me like that? Y'all ain't right. I still love y'all though. I do. But it ain't right. So, fine. Alright, bet. Another day of momming by myself. Cool. I got this. Well, lo and behold, we out here, and I know this is a privilege. I'm a lead with that shit. I know this is a privilege to tell you about this vacation that I'm about to go on. I I recognize that. I am grateful and I am blessed to be able to do this and to be able to talk about it. And I'm going to complain for a hot second. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to call it complain because it's not complaining, but I want to just shout out and highlight all the people, who are the ones like getting shit ready before the family goes on a trip. And I had a client one time tell me, this client has 2 children. This client told me, Vanessa, there's a difference between a vacation and a family trip. And I'm like, say more, right? Because I'm genuinely intrigued. She didn't lie. She absolutely did not lie. So a family trip is essentially life with children and going on a trip where, yeah, you're not at your house and you traveled somewhere, but at the same time, it's still quite a bit of work, especially when you have little humans, right? We are going on a family trip. Like, y'all, I am so excited. I should have probably done a video for this episode, but just this mompreneur shit, I'm out here looking a little crazy right now because I was working really hard to try to find somebody to do my hair. Because y'all know how it is. We go on vacation, the hair needs to get done. I wanted braids because I don't want to do my hair. I don't care how short it is. I don't care. Nah, but I'm trying it because it's probably not going to happen. Anyways, I did make my nail appointment and I did make my lash appointment. So I ain't going to be looking all types of crazy in Europe, okay? But what's really exciting about this trip is the fact that my partner was born and raised in his early years in Holland. And we originally booked this trip back in 2020. Yo, when I tell you 2020 for us, we were like, yes, we're going on trips. We had, our little human was less than freaking 6 months old, already had a passport. We were ready, y'all. And then COVID was like, swerve, skirt. And we had to cancel it. And I was pissed. I was sad. I was so many things, right? Because there's something about being able to go on a trip, but then also being able to have your partner show you around where they grew up, introduce you to the friends and the family and all the people that maybe have visited us here in the US. And so I was bummed, obviously, as many people grieved the loss of having to cancel trips or not being able to do things that scheduled for 2020 and 2021. And can I tell you that we rebooked the trip. It's now 2022, but it was a little touch and go there because there were different strands and it was a resurgence and Holland, shut down again and so on and so forth. And y'all already know that internationally, people ain't here for the US and their BS. And so I was like, yo, are they even gonna let us in? Which, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not wanting to let us in because some of these Americans be out here a little reckless for my liking. And so I was like, I can't be totally mad if Holland's like, nope, swerve. Again, you can't come through because your passport is American passport. Y'all see what I did there though, right? Like, it's an American passport. I do not claim the US. Because it ain't mine to claim. And it ain't yours to claim either, okay? And you know what? With that said, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the land that I am on that has been colonized as Tampa, Florida, but is the land of the Tocobaga and the Seminole land of the people that were here, okay? Much respect. So much honor. So, like I said, my passport is American, but that's it. That's it. All right. So where was I? Bet. So this trip to Holland, really exciting. It's super monumental. I am feeling really privileged and blessed to be able to do this. And I'm really excited. Don't laugh at me, y'all. But I'm really excited. It's going to be my first time getting on a train. I guess it's kind of like the Amtrak here. which no, I have also never been on the Amtrak. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, y'all, okay? Because the Peter Pan bus and the Feng Hua bus were perfectly fine when I had to get from Boston to New York and New York to Boston, okay? Now, I am much more aware of the safety concerns that I can't even get this out, y'all. But I am very aware of the safety concerns of those buses, okay? But back in the day, the price was right. All right, and we're just gonna leave it at that. We're just gonna leave it. So, I've never been on an Amtrak, no, and I'm getting on one of those trains to go between the countries. And I remember reading and hearing about these trains when I was in high school, and I took French. Freaking wowed and wooed by all of this. Well, my inner teenage self, my inner teenage part that read about all of those and the trains and the commutes and so on and so forth, we about to live it. Hello. And I am so excited. Now, to layer on another piece that's really dope is, y'all already know how I feel about family. Family is what you define it. It is not just blood. My bonus co-parent and my bonus daughter, they're going to be joining us for the Paris portion of the trip. And I am so excited. You know, one day I'm hoping to have my bonus co-parent on an episode with me, because there's something truly amazing around the fact that she and I have been through some shit, and we're able to have the relationship that we do. And I'm not saying like we out here running around pretending like we're besties and so on and so forth, but what we have is this mutual respect. And I can't speak for her, but what I can say about myself in regards to forgiveness is this piece that I have to forgive myself for how I was showing up back then. And I also forgive her for how she showed up back then too. Right? Like we was just out in these streets doing the best that we could with what we knew and what we had. And we have more now. We have more knowledge, more experience. We are paving a path, right? Like, I'm not out here trying to waste my time having enemies or people that I don't like. Like, for real, it's a waste. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. And I'm not doing it. I'd much rather be out here sharing and spreading all the love that I got, because I have a lot of love for people. So the opportunity for us to come together and co-parent and raise my bonus daughter, and she gets to raise her bonus son, and we out here doing it all together in community like a village. Yes, please. Okay? Yes, please. Because this shit's for the birds. Mompreneur shit, it ain't easy. And so I'm very aware of my community and who I need, who I love, who I want, and not just for myself, but also for my little human, for my bonus daughter, who is a teenage human. I still consider her a little human, but she's a teenage human. Y'all can go ahead and say a prayer real quick for me, but yes, it's for all of us. It's for our communities. It's for our future generations, all that. Whew, that was one hell of a tangent. Anyways, if you're still with me, I know you can see how this is all connected, because it's connected. So that talk, I just shared right there a little bit about the piece of forgiveness. Forgiveness towards other people, forgiveness towards myself. Well, in present day, I also needed to exercise some grace, right? With my partner traveling and all of us as a family taking a trip, because it's not a vacation, because mom is still going to be on. Mom's still going to be momming, just in another country. But with this family trip, it's quite a bit of preparation, right? And I had to give myself grace to break things all the way the fuck down and really think about what can I do without stressing myself out. What are things that I'm going to need my partner to do when he gets back? And what are some things that are just not going to be quote unquote perfect. Not that there's a whole lot that's perfect, especially in this house. But we are doing a damn thing. For me to feel good about doing a damn thing, it does not reach this invisible, also what I consider to be obnoxious level of perfection, because that shit ain't real. That grace to flex on how I was thinking, oh, it's going to be like this, or it needs to be this way, giving myself that grace and permission to release that, because I needed to go with the flow. I needed to be able to flex and give myself some different options for all the shits that life was sending my way. You know, this week was also a heavy week, because if you heard our trailer, the trailer, I talked a little bit about being a pre-adoptive mom. And last Monday, today is Monday, so a week ago, we had to make the decision to take a step back from the adoption process. And that was a really, really hard decision to make. And it was selfless, and it needed to be done. And maybe I will take another episode to talk a little bit about the adoption process and how we landed on the decision to say we need to center baby girl. And by centering baby girl, it means that we are going to take a step back, because there were a number of barriers in our way that would slow the process all the way down. And that wasn't going to be okay. That didn't land well with me. And so we made a hard decision. Then there's being an entrepreneur, where, yes, of course, there's the beauty, and there's the fun, and there's the flexibility, and there's lots of, y'all already know, I love learning. There's lots of learning opportunities. And it's hard. And it's not always freaking sunflowers and roses and lilies and shit. There are times where conversations and looking at, what am I doing? Who the fuck told me to be an entrepreneur? Which is so crazy, right? Because I truly love it. I love the work that I do. I love my businesses. And it's hard. So there's that. Then I'm out here trying to plan for this trip all at the same time. And it just felt so overwhelming. And whether or not the way that I said overwhelming lands with you specifically because you know what it's like to plan for a trip with the family, or if you know what it's like because you have a partner who travels for work as well, or maybe it's because you're in school and you're listening to this as you're trying to study or, you know, prepare for exams, so on and so forth. Give yourself permission to pause for just a hot minute. Give yourself permission to extend that grace and the forgiveness for doing all the things you can the best way that you can with the tools that you've got. And with that, even as I say it to you, I've been saying it to myself all day, but even as I say it to you again, it's the repetition that lightens the weight on my shoulders just a little bit more. And it's the recognition of, you know what? It's going to be okay, right? If I forget to pack some extra boxers for my little man, that we'll have to figure something out. Maybe we'll hand wash them and let them dry in the bathroom overnight. I don't know. Don't laugh at me. I've been there. You don't know how to do laundry till you done scrubbed your own laundry by hand. Okay? If you only put it in the washer and then into the dryer, I don't want to hear nothing. If you ain't ever hung your clothes up on the roof or in the backyard and then had to book it full speed because all of a sudden it started raining, I don't want to hear nothing. Oh my goodness. It's so interesting how different parts of us hold certain memories and then they get activated depending on what you're saying, right? Like, how the heck did I land on And I've got like a vivid image coming to mind of running to the backyard and climbing up to the roof to get some clothes with the bucket because it started raining. And that whole memory and that whole vivid image, like I've got my eyes closed right now, and that whole vivid image that comes up as I say that to you all started from the hypothetical example of me forgetting some extra underwear for my son. Yo, when I tell you, day in and day out, the body, our parts, our minds, all of it, all of our system does not cease to amaze me. It does not. So, grace. I want you to think about that word. I want you to define it for yourself. Forgiveness. Think about that word. Define it for yourself as well. And the self-compassion. What do each of those mean to you? And how do they all come together? Right? So I just explained to you my last week and how each of those words all culminated in a way that allows me to continue moving through these next few days as my best self, with my best foot forward, while also recognizing that there's a lot happening, right? There's still a lot of things up in the air. There's parts of me that are grieving certain things, and there are also parts of me that are celebrating and rejoicing this opportunity. And I'm grateful for all of them. They can all coexist at once. And I really, truly, and deeply do not want us to forget that. It's kind of like that saying, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Like people can say that sentence, they can put all of those things together, but then it somehow becomes, I don't know, somehow becomes maybe unbearable, uncomfortable, confusing when we are experiencing the good, bad, and ugly all at once. And hey, we are humans. We are complex as fuck, y'all. We are complex as fuck, okay? So the sooner you can recognize and give yourself permission to have a multitude of emotions and parts activated at once, whew, the sooner shit would just make sense. Now, I'm not going to say you got the magic key to all the things in regards to making sense, but it will also allow us to have more space to be like, damn, I'm really excited for this trip, and I'm also still really sad about the fact that we had to pivot on this adoption process. I'm excited. I'm so excited to be able to spend some time in Holland and spend some time in Paris. And I am thoroughly not looking forward to that long-ass plane ride with layovers, mind you, with a toddler. Okay? And I be trying to be out here gentle parenting and Montessori parenting, all that stuff. But you know, that toddler, y'all, is talented at testing mama's buttons and pushing all of the right ones. He just don't be gentle childing sometimes when I need him to gentle child, because I'm trying to gentle mom all day. And so, yeah, there's that piece. There's that piece of like worry and nervousness about being on a plane for so long with the toddler and hoping we don't piss off all the other passengers. And then the other part of me is like, fuck them other passengers. Like, put some headphones in, y'all. You'll be all right. You're not sitting right next to this little human, or he's not sitting directly on your lap, whatever it might be. And so I'm going to continue to remind myself of this grace and this forgiveness, forgiveness to say, all right, kid, mama's ready to bust out the iPad and YouTube. That's just what it is. I'm ready to give myself grace when I have to look at his father and be like, man, you better put this kid on your lap. Mama needs some breathing space right now. So I want you to think about not only how do you define grace, forgiveness, and self-compassion, but I also want you to think about what are some ways that I need to extend each or maybe all of these towards myself some more. And I don't want you to wait until things bubble up and they're all the way at the top and, you know, you're having a really hard time. But I want you to think about how do you incorporate these day in and day out. And when I tell you, y'all, I'm not looking for the biggest, most grand acts or thought processes. Keep it simple. Example. This morning, I came home after dropping my little human off. Oh, better yet, I'll back up another second. This morning, I had to take a call with my intern and her field placement advisor in the backseat of my car because my partner wasn't here this morning as he was supposed to be able to take my human to school. So that meant mama was very time limited on getting human to school and then getting back to my office, aka my pantry, to be able to take the call. So I did the best that I could, y'all. And I'm saying that for me, not for you. I did the best that I could. And I also recognized that I wasn't going to make it from point A to point B in time. And it also was not worth the rush and the stress and the struggle of trying to make myself get from point A to point B. So instead, I took my few extra minutes and I went and I pulled over into a parking lot. I set up shop in the back seat of the car and I did the call from there. And I extended myself that grace to be like, yo, girl, it's been a morning and it's okay to take this call because I am the tool that's needed. I didn't need to be in my office. I didn't need anything else. The knowledge and the experiences are in my head. The feedback that I needed to provide was all within me. So I said, all right, this is how we're going to do it. So, and let's also put in, that's compassionate because I would have activated all my anxious parts if I was trying to get from point A to point B in time, be set up and ready for that meeting at 8 a.m. Like, that ain't happening. And if you know me, you know good and damn well, mornings are not my thing. They're just not. I do not function well. So when you are trying to think about ways to be more forgiving towards yourself, having more compassion, and allowing more space for grace, again, it doesn't have to be big and grandiose and so on and so forth. They can be daily, smaller acts, smaller thought processes. And those are so powerful. Give me 20 times today that I was graceful, compassionate, and forgiving to myself, and I will be, I don't even know, y'all. I will be on cloud 9. It will be a beautiful thing because that consistency and the frequency of all of it is much more ingrained in my body and in my mind and in my emotions for me to be able to carry forward, as opposed to being mad at myself or, you know, having parts that are just being mean, right? And I don't even gotta go into too much detail about what does that mean to be mean to yourself. Y'all know good and damn well those negative thoughts or the why'd you do that? No wonder you were late, so on and so forth. Those thoughts don't have any space in my head. I need to create less room for those. And that's my task for myself. That's my task for you. Create more space for grace, forgiveness, and self-compassion. Well, I think it's been about 30-something minutes of me out here talking. From the ramble of mompreneur shit to family, to traveling, to how do we incorporate essentially more kindness towards ourselves. The grace and the forgiveness is being kind to ourselves, and the self-compassion. So I hope that some of the examples I provided resonated with you in some way, shape, or form, and or you are able to incorporate some of these, whether it be the homework and you be more thoughtful about it going forward, or if you look back upon this day or this week and start to highlight for yourself when you were extending grace, forgiveness, and compassion. So, without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and wrap it up and pause right here. And I hope you have nothing short of a beautiful fucking day. Peace, y'all.